All right, let's get right into it. All over the world, you've got these ancient monuments just standing there, silent witnesses to the past. But here's the thing, they're not just piles of rock. They're actually these incredibly intricate machines, massive timepieces and cosmic maps, and they hold some pretty profound secrets about how their builders saw the entire universe. You know, for generations, we've pretty much assumed these massive structures were built to honor the most obvious thing in the sky, the sun. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? But as we're about to see, there's this fascinating astronomical puzzle that suggests for some cultures, the real story, the big one, was actually unfolding long after sunset.
So, to really get this mystery, we first have to start with what we thought we knew for sure. And for countless ancient cultures, the sun, well, it was the ultimate cosmic clock. And they built their most sacred structures to follow its every single move.
From the Egyptians to the Romans, orienting your sacred spaces toward the sunrise was a really common practice. But if you want one of the clearest, most statistically powerful examples of this solar obsession, you gotta look at the ancient Greeks.
And the evidence here is it's overwhelming. Just look at these numbers from Greek temples. Over in Sicily, 40 out of 41 face east. In Greece, it's almost the exact same pattern. Now, that is not a coincidence. That's a cultural blueprint. It's a crystal clear astronomical fingerprint of a society that absolutely lived by the solar cycle.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. We knew they were watching the sun, but it turns out we often misunderstood which days were the important ones. The popular belief always points to the equinoxes, but the actual archaeological evidence, it shows alignments to something else entirely, quarter days. These are the days that precisely divide the time between the solstices. For a society based on agriculture, that practical calendar was everything.
And this is where we leave the known world of the sun and step into a genuine archaeological mystery. Because once we account for all the solar alignments we know about, something else starts to emerge from the data, something that just doesn't fit the pattern.
So you go over to the Maya world, and a significant number of temples are skewed way away from any important solar event. They don't point to the solstices or the quarter days, not even the days of zenith passage. So if it wasn't the sun, what in the world could have been important enough to build an entire temple for?
So when researchers plotted the alignment of hundreds of Maya buildings, the data itself revealed the mystery. You can see it right here. There are two peaks that make perfect sense. They line up with sunrises on key agricultural dates. But then, there's this third, major peak. A whole group of buildings all pointing in the same strange direction that has absolutely nothing to do with the sun.
So the researchers started ruling out the usual suspects, kind of like detectives. It wasn't the sun on the solstices or quarter days. Nope. Venus, at its most extreme points on the horizon. Well, that explained a few other sites, but not this main mystery cluster. The data just didn't fit, leaving this huge astronomical question mark.
The answer, as it turns out, was hiding in plain sight. But it's a celestial body whose movements are way more complex and subtle than the sun's. You see, the Maya weren't just watching the sun, they were intimately tracking the secrets of the moon.
Now the key to this entire puzzle is this incredible event called the lunar standstill. We all know the sun travels between two extreme points every year. We call them the solstices. Well, the moon does the same thing every single month. But, and here's the mind-bending twist, the boundaries of its path, they aren't fixed. They actually slowly expand and contract over a massive 18.6-year cycle.
I mean, just imagine being an ancient astronomer trying to track this. For over 9 years, you would watch the moon's boundaries on the horizon just creep wider and wider until it hits what's called the major standstill. Then, for another 9 years, you'd see them shrink all the way back. Mastering this nearly 2-decade-long cycle that required immense patience and generational knowledge.
And the evidence for this is it's stunning. That mystery peak in the data we saw, it is a perfect match for the major lunar standstill. Not only that, the temples are clustered in the exact region where the Maya moon goddess Ixchel was worshipped, and they're often built right next to solar temples, which suggests they were tracking the full moon at its most extreme. All the pieces fit together perfectly.
So, the Maya were clearly masters of lunar astronomy. No question. But, was this obsession with celestial precision unique to them? Or were other cultures maybe encoding different cosmic rules into their greatest monuments?
Well, it turns out this drive for precision was a global phenomenon. While the Maya were focused on the sun and the moon, other civilizations were completely obsessed with something else, aligning their monumental structures to the 4 cardinal directions with almost unbelievable accuracy.
Take a look at this number, 12 arcseconds. That is the claimed deviation from perfect true north for the northern face of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. To put that into perspective for you, that is an astonishingly tiny margin of error for any structure, let alone an ancient one. So, let's see how this claimed precision stacks up around the world. We know the Great Pyramid of Giza, an absolute masterpiece of engineering, is off true north by a mere 3 arc minutes. China's Yangling Mausoleum is off by about 27. The study that measured the Bosnian Pyramid claims it's even more precise. Now, while some of these claims are definitely debated, the pattern underneath is clear. There was a widespread, ancient obsession with aligning to true north.
And this principle wasn't isolated to just 1 or 2 places. It was a worldwide phenomenon. From the Nubian pyramids in Sudan to the city-sized earthworks at Cahokia, right here in the US, entire sacred landscapes were built on a cardinal grid. Even if you go back to the Maya world, major sites like Tikal followed this rule. This was like a global architectural language.
So what does it all mean, right? Why did so many ancient cultures invest so much incredible effort into perfectly aligning their most important buildings with the cosmos? Well, the answer goes way beyond just simple timekeep. Because these structures were never just simple calendars. They were a fusion of everything: science, religion, agriculture, and power. A single alignment could signal the right time to plant your crops, the beginning of a sacred festival, and a direct connection to the divine, all at the exact same time.
And really, at the end of the day, this knowledge was power. By building temples that literally mirrored the heavens, the ruling elite were sending a very powerful message. We understand the cosmic order, we are in a dialogue with the gods, following us means following the natural divine rhythm of the universe. It was a brilliant way to legitimize and maintain their authority.
Which, of course, leaves us with a final, tantalizing thought. We've decoded solar alignments, lunar alignments, cardinal alignments. But what else have we missed? As we develop new ways to analyze these ancient sites, what other profound secrets, written in stone and aligned with the stars, are still out there, just waiting for us to finally learn how to read them?